I am your host, Daniel Mesrobian from eXp Realty. We are the elite builders. We're going to be talking about real estate investing. And what does that entail? When someone says, well, I'm an investor. We hear that term all the time. Let's go off of the definition of a real estate investor. One who makes a living buying investment properties and holding them for income or selling them for profit to generate income. We have a special guest today, someone who is doing just that. Let me introduce you all to the hustler, the go-getter, the one that makes deals happen, the one and only Denise Curtis.
Hey, Dan. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Such a great journey with you to just kind of see someone who, again, started out just basically doing a 9-to-5 and started dabbling and buying your first piece of real estate. And then through that, actually, you know what? Let's just let you tell the story. Let's make an intro.
That is why I'm here.
And yeah, let's make an introduction and just say, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you have going on, and we'll just kind of take it from there.
Okay. Gosh, where do I start? So my name's Denise. I am obsessed with real estate, and it became a little bit of an addiction. And it started a long time ago, and I have gotten to the point where I am full-time now, dedicating my days and some of my nights to, acquiring real estate, managing real estate, negotiating deals, selling real estate, managing tenants. Well, not so much anymore, but that is what I'm primarily doing now. And I started out very, very, very small. I was a 9-to-5, person. And I guess my real estate journey started when I had sold my co-op apartment in Manhattan and made a really nice profit and was looking to just rent part-time, looking to rent for a little while, not part-time. And just so I figured out where I wanted to put down roots, I moved to Jersey City and saw what was happening in Jersey City. I mean, I don't know if I need to explain to people, but Jersey City went from being a place that not most people wanted to live to now where a lot of people want to live. And
Right.
It's, real estate has really boomed there. So when I was renting, I saw, what was happening, all the, the hipster restaurants and bars and the little shops. And, it was just happening really, really fast. And so I was like, I have got to get in on this. And I had my money that I had from my sale from the city. And meanwhile, I invested that money with like a fund manager or something. I don't know.
In the stock market?
Yeah, like a growth fund.
Okay.
Right. Like I met with someone for a year. I had it in that fund, and I remember being in my kitchen, opening my mail, and getting my year end report.
Yeah.
And I made $1.
Come on, literally $1.
Yeah, because I guess the stock market had taken some dips.
Sure.
I don't remember what year it was, but yeah. And I remember thinking no, this is not exciting to me. This is not what's happening with my money. I want to invest in real estate. So I took all my money out of that fund and decided I want to buy something, a rental property. Wasn't ready to move. I wanted to continue renting because I didn't know where I actually wanted to live. So that's when I called you because you had helped me try and find my rental. And I said, let me call that guy. He seemed pretty cool. And
He's way cool.
He's way cool. Well, I learned that you were way cool. I didn't know yet. So so we started looking. You took me hunting and I just looked for whatever. I was just going to get a conventional loan, whatever I would qualify for. And we found just a 2-bedroom condo. And when I was thinking about where I wanted to buy, I remember asking you, what are the next neighborhoods in Jersey City that are going to start to become popular? Not now, but in a few years.
Yeah.
because downtown Jersey City had already been gotten hot, and I didn't want to buy, at the peak.
It was saturated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you told me a couple neighborhoods that are getting a lot of buzz, a lot of builders are working there. So I picked a neighborhood and bought just a little condo.
Yep.
It wasn't anything, sexy or like glamorous. It was just a 2-bedroom condo, and rented that for a few years. Got my feet wet as a landlord with that one.
Yeah, I remember.
Have some interesting stories there, maybe for a different podcast.
I do remember that. I remember that condo very well. So let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
So you had that happen with you with the stock market. So in a year, that's amazing to me. You got your statement and it was, you made $1 in 12 months.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Okay. So immediately you knew in your mind, you were like, all right, I'm ready to make a shift. And I know that I want that shift to be in real estate. Have you always been interested in like acquiring real estate assets? Have you always been curious about it? Like, talk about that.
For me, like I always, like my dad would always like push me to like contribute to my like IRA,
401k,
right?
sure.
Which is great. But it was like, I was like, all right. And then I would get the statements. I'm like, okay. But it just wasn't exciting to me.
Yeah.
And so I think once I owned my own property for the first time, the condo in the city, you start to kind of just read about real estate. You want to know what's happening with your
Yes.
home, right?
Yes.
So the time that I bought my co-op was before New York City real estate went bananas. So I was living in that.
And just so I want to ask, around what time was that?
I want to say 2004, 2005.
Okay. So it was going up. So we were only a few years after 9/11, fortunately. And I remember those commercials. Government would pop them out and say, "You as a consumer, you should own real estate. Like it is your right as an American citizen to own real estate." Because they were very fearful at that time, 01, 02.
Yeah.
People were going to just pull back after what happened and not buy.
Yeah.
So that. I remember those commercials like they were yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
So then you start to see the market starting to go on an uptick, which is around when you were thinking about buying it,
right?
And bought.
Yeah, which I wasn't even like planning anything strategically. I just wanted more space. I was living in the stereotypical New York City shoebox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like as a rental.
Okay.
And I was happy with that. As a young girl living in the city, this is what you do. You have tiny apartments.
Were you working in the city too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And anyway, so when I was living in my co-op and real estate was really starting to become a conversation, and when I finally sold it and I made such a significant profit, that gets you really interested.
Sure.
Right. I mean,
Sure.
anytime you're gonna make a lot of money doing something that makes sense to you, that you understand, you want to learn more. And so when I moved to Jersey City as a renter and I left the city, my intention wasn't to necessarily invest in real estate. Maybe I thought I'd buy my next place that I would live in.
Right.
But I just had this interest in observing what was happening around Jersey City, and seeing like growth was so exciting to me, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Okay.
I said I had to, I want to get in on this. Like I want to be a part of this time and this excitement and this growth, and I have the money to do it. So I had this like burning desire to buy something in an area that was like so up and coming.
And then that was when you got the first condo. We got the first condo together.
We got the first condo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was in Jersey City Heights.
Yes.
At the time. And the Heights was not even close to what it's at now.
No.
Yeah. The Heights right now for people who aren't familiar, you could get a 2-bedroom condo in the Heights, 7-8 years ago for less than $200,000.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at, $500,000 or more, even way more. We got in ground level, and then we saw you saw the appreciation. So now what we're going to go into is, so it was a 2-bedroom condo was your first purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we go and do what?
So I did something that I didn't know how to term called house hacking. So I got some really excellent advice from someone who told me that if you can buy a multifamily and live in one of the units.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was brilliant because your tenants are now paying your mortgage, essentially, ideally, or
Yeah.
at least like a good
A
portion
good
of it.
portion.
So, and I remember my dad was like really wanting me to buy multifamily. You know, when I was looking for the condo, I was like, I am not ready to buy and manage like an entire piece of property myself. Like
Right.
that was not like I needed to start small.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt I was ready. So you and I went looking for multifamily and found a 2-family in Union City.
We did.
Yeah.
And so now, okay. So now let's talk about this. Now, Denise owns 2 pieces of property, 2 pieces of real estate. Whereas, I mean, what was the time frame? Was that like a year after?
Yeah,
Did
it
we
was
do
like
it
a
like a
year.
year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was really itching
Mm-hmm.
to buy something else.
So I'm going to imagine that because of the ease of sale of the first one and how, oh, what's the word I want to use? Unhard. It is to buy the piece of property and then have it kind of manage itself. Yes, you're going to have issues with tenants every once in a blue moon, but if you put the right tenants in there, the place just basically manages itself.
Yeah.
So once you realize that, it's like, let's go find something else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we have 2, and then
And then a couple years later, I decided to sell the condo
mm-hmm.
because the market had really gotten hot in the Heights, and I was just itching to go bigger.
Okay.
So we sold it, and I mean, I would say I tripled my money with that sale,
Mm-hmm.
and then bought a 2-family in another part of Jersey City, and that was a very different experience
Mm-hmm.
than the condo.
All right, and we'll talk about that because I know the one we're talking about. So we're going to get into that. But so we start out small. We go condo. Then we realize this is pretty easy. Let's get another one.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get another one. And what do we see here happening each time you buy? What is your wealth doing? What is
It's growing.
your net worth?
It's growing.
It's continuously growing.
Yeah. It's significant. Like you feel it, and especially when you or for me the most significant way I felt it initially was uh moving into the 2-family where I had the cash flow or the rental income
Mm-hmm.
that covered my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
The financial freedom that comes with that, you can't get that anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from like busting my hump because I wanted to make sure that I had all my living expenses covered and my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So now I don't have to stress about that anymore.
Right.
Because because my previous job was commission based, right? So if I had a slow week, the stress wasn't there anymore. You know, I wasn't like freaking out that, I had to pay my bills, or just the level of, I guess, I don't know what the word I'm trying to say is, but the level of just serenity that comes over you when you're feeling a financial burden removed.
Sounds like the word would be peace.
Peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I did have a tenant upstairs that was the opposite of peace.
Mm.
But I learned the thing is with this whole experience that's been so amazing for me is the learning that you go through with every little piece of this
Right.
puzzle, every step of the way.
Yep.
I've learned so much, just like managing people, managing tenants, being a landlord, how to fix things, like how things should be fixed, what it's supposed to cost, knowing now that if someone's trying to price gouge me, I know what that looks like.
Yep.
And just having so much more knowledge about so many other things that I would have never experienced had I not gone into this. It just opened up my whole world.
I'm going to take a sidebar here because Denise said something that's very powerful, is my living expenses are now met. I don't have to work. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So let's talk about that. In this country, in the United States, there are 4 things that take up most of our income, most of them. You have your travel, which is a car. You have food. You have housing. And you have insurance. So those are the 4 factors. Those are the 4 things that take the most of our money each month that we earn. So what Denise has now done is taken one of those, which is the largest one, housing, and eliminated that payment. So now she only has 3 that she's focusing on: insurance, travel, and food. Food you're always going to have. Insurance you're always going to have. But now, as you bring in more, as you acquire more and have that rental income offsetting, you can basically have all that passive income offset the other 3: travel, insurance, and food. So she's eliminated now the first of those 4, which is the largest. So it's a very powerful thing. This is what the power of passive income can do for somebody. Okay. So now that you have that, and I want to go back to something you had mentioned before, managing tenants. And you said not so much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as where you are now, are you looking, like, let's talk about, since your journey of the first condo to 2 fams to, I know you're looking and you're into bigger and better things now. Is tenant management one of them? Or are you basically just saying, I'm just now an investor. My money is basically just going to perform. Somebody else is going to manage tenants and things of that nature.
Yeah. So I sold the 2-family in Jersey City because I wanted to. It was like the time was ticking to be able to sell last year or
Yes.
early. I don't. Was it last year or this year?
No, it was last year.
2021.
2021.
Yeah, exactly. So because the dealing with the tenants became very stressful for me, and it did become more of a kind of a money pit than I had expected because it just was poorly maintained. So once I sold that, I decided that I did not want to manage tenants anymore. So now I'm looking to just purchase real estate with a property manager in place.
Yep.
Because now I can just focus on the business
Mm-hmm.
and not have to deal with
Yep.
the personal aspect of it, because they're very different jobs.
100%. You're going from being an active participant to a passive participant
Mm-hmm.
because your money is just doing the work for you.
Yeah.
Somebody else is actively managing the building or whatever you're buying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. But you still it's still your money and your assets. So you can't trust anyone
100%.
to do everything properly. So I still have to manage my property managers.
Got it.
So my property managers aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's a problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not just passive. I don't just buy it and then sit back and relax. It's a constant management to make sure that the asset is being managed properly. Yeah.
So now you've gone from your local market. So now let's take a sidebar here. So Denise has gone from where she investing to where she lives, Jersey City and these areas. And we would have gone other areas. I know you have mentioned to me previous times, well, I don't really know that area. Tell me about it.
Mm-hmm,
Like I've sent you some in like Newark and different
Sure.
parts of Newark. And, you had mentioned to me, well, I don't really know that, but let me know. Tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have if it made sense there. But now Denise is investing across the country, which is a big leap, but a leap that is able to be made. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How did you actually make that leap from just your local market, being able to go to the asset itself, to the home itself that you bought, to now it's 1,000 miles away, 2,000 miles away?
So how that started was the pandemic happened, and I lost my job and had lots of free time. And what I decided to do with that free time was start educating myself on real estate investing, um, more than I knew because I did not know that there's so much to learn. And so what I did was I started joining Facebook groups for real estate investors and listening to podcasts and joining webinars and reading books and just reading blogs and educating myself about real estate investing because when I was, joining all these Facebook groups, I was seeing that there were people that invested in other cities that they didn't live in.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, how do you do that? How
Yeah.
does one do that?
Yeah.
How do I learn? How do I even know the different neighborhoods? Like, what's the good neighborhood about that block?
Mm-hmm.
So I started to realize that I needed someone to help me. I needed a mentor. So I met this woman in one of the Facebook groups, and she kind of started a mentorship program with me for just a few months. And she taught me about, because she's a full-time real estate investor. So she kind of gave me the basics about real estate investing.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd actually wound up doing a flip together here in New Jersey.
Is that the one in South Orange that we bought?
Yes.
I remember.
So what I really wanted when I got together with her was I wanted to learn how to do a flip, right? Because I'd never done that before. And we wound up doing a flip together in South Orange, New Jersey. Beautiful home that was like a hoarder house. And we turned it into a gem. And that was a very difficult and stressful experience. But we got through it and made money. And
let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
Give me like some challenges that you experienced with that you can share with the audience.
Yeah. So many. It starts with the contractor. We just hired the wrong contractor. He was not capable of doing a full renovation on a home. We just made a mistake with that.
Okay.
And then
how did you find him?
He was referred.
To you or to your partner?
To my partner.
Got it.
Yeah. And I met him, and see, the thing that now I know about contractors is they know how to say the right things to get the job.
Yes, they do.
So I was new. I was very green. I was like, yeah, this guy knows how to do everything. He can totally do it for us. And it's like so cheap. And oh my God. So, and then it turned out that we had to fire him because he was getting nothing done. And then we had to hire new contractors, and they were way more expensive than what we had planned.
And did they want to undo what he did and redo their own, or were they okay with where it was at the time?
They were okay with where we had to undo some, the tile work, had to be completely redone.
And the reason I asked this is because I've had this exact same thing happen to me as well when myself investing with my partners and doing flips and stuff. Contractors are one of the hardest things to find. Trustworthy ones in this area.
It was tough, but I learned so much, right? I mean, it's like, that's the thing with real estate is that you constantly are learning.
We'll wrap everything up now. First and foremost, thank you so much, Denise Curtis, professional investor. You have dropped some insane knowledge bombs on everybody here. And I sincerely hope that you all out there have really benefited from the knowledge and the wisdom that this woman sitting across from me has shared with you today. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast, give some great feedback. And if you found value in what Denise and I have shared with you today, let us know. And if you really, thought that this was just a really beneficial show for you, we'll have her on again in the future. So thank you so much, everyone. And Denise, thank you again for coming.
Thanks, Dan.
Truly appreciate it.
Our guide, Daniel Mesrobian, is on the phone with a potential client. You won't hear the seller's real voice because this story isn't about them. It's about the rhythm of the conversation. It's never about the who. It's always about the what.